A very beautiful Thursday evening from wherever you are. This is Jalango TV and the program on air definitely Bonga na Jalas. This is a conversation that I've been waiting to have with this beautiful, beautiful lady. And if you saw my poster yesterday, I said that I don't have any capabilities. I don't have, what do you say, the words to be able to interview Cynthia Nyamai. Welcome so much, my sister.
Thank you.
Have you been?
No, I've forgotten even all the answers.
Have you been?
I'm good.
Karibu sana. Let's sanitize kwanza. Wow.
I learned Santanize.
Santanizer.
But
Definitely
thank
the
you.
best sanitizer in the country as we speak. Definitely is Velvex. And this one is good. This is good for the ladies also.
Yeah.
It is called the summer breeze.
Ah,
It has
I
even
can
this.
smell the scent. It
Yes,
has a good
that
scent.
is the difference, and that
I
is
like
why.
it, and it's soft on my hands. I like it.
Have you been?
I'm good.
So Corona brought you back home.
I think it was time to come back home.
Uh-huh.
I had missed home.
Uh-huh.
I'd been away for 8 years.
8 years.
Yes, 8 years. And so one time I actually came home to visit, and then I went to visit her. I spent over at a friend's house. And then when I came back, my niece held on to me and she said, you know, last night I came to your bed, I didn't find you. I thought you've gone back to Uganda. I don't want you to ever go. So she convinced me to move back, and I could see I've missed a lot of time with her and with family. So I moved back.
So you moved back.
Yes.
This is after globe trotting.
Yes.
This where did you go to?
I worked in Nigeria. I was in Abuja and a place in the north called Zamfara, and then also a bit in Tanzania, and then Uganda.
Wow.
Yes.
Cynthia, you know, you left this place. You left this place at the epitome of your career.
Yes.
What chased you out of Kenya that very fast?
I think it's the growth. Sometimes you want growth, you want more, and you feel like you have it in you.
Okay.
You feel that fire in you. You're like, okay, I've done this. I've worked in TV. People didn't think I would. Even people would tell me my voice is not for TV. I made it, and that's why I love challenges. They push you. You realize so much about yourself, and you want more. And for me, the reason why I was born is to bring Africa together through trade.
Wow.
So slowly chances just started opening up. Like I was not even planning to go to Nigeria. I just went to the High Commission. I told them, you know what, whether or not you have a budget, allow me to work with you to bring take traders to Uganda, to Nigeria.
To Nigeria.
And even when they would come in, then I would help them with their meetings, arrange the meetings, introduce them to the right people, because people don't have time to have 4 meetings and take 5 days in Kenya. You want to have all those meetings in a day. So I'd arrange and do all that. And then one time I had a client from Nigeria, and even the job was free. And then they liked the job. They said, would you like to come to Nigeria?
Wow.
Yes.
And that is how you left.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
You know, Cynthia, 8 years down the line, there are so many people who either forgotten about you, forgotten what you used to do, what everything.
Yeah.
If you were to just introduce yourself to the people who are watching you here for the first day, you know, some of us, we grew up together, we've worked in the same stations together. That's why I said, welcome back home, even in the poster. So to everybody who's watching right now, who is Cynthia Nyamai?
So Cynthia Nyamai is blessed enough to come and sit with Jalas.
Very good, very good.
And be on the number one online show. And Cynthia is born and raised in Nairobi. I was born in Mombasa and then we moved to Nairobi. Schooled in Nairobi and then high school in Kitui. And then I went to university at USIU. Then I got a job at KTN.
At KTN?
Yes, where I started as an intern.
Okay.
And the reason why I like you a lot is because our stories are similar. Maybe I've not been a fisherman, but I've struggled a lot to get to where I
wewe
am.
ni mtu una struggle. Hizi ni rangi. Why do everybody who come to sit here wanna answer hizi stories of struggle? Do you all want just to relate? You know me, I'm not like, okay, fungua mguu yangu hivi, malama, manini, sura ngumu, siku hizi ndio nimeanza kuoga na maji moto. Hii ni nini ya kuteseka? What do you mean that?
Unajua kuteseka, there are different types. By then there are times even like when I was trying to get an internship with KTN, you know you're a student, hauna hata hiyo enough cash, and I used to go there every day. Even my dad would be like, sikupei bus fare. We were living on Thika Road, Kahawaskari. Hakuna bus fare ya kwenda huko every day. So sometimes I would walk.
You'd walk?
Yeah, I take until I'd take actually a matatu until somewhere around even Ngara. Alafu I walk to save the cash, and then I'd sit there. In fact, the receptionist, even the guard, all of them, they became my friends. They would even allow me to nikae hata kama sina appointment. And then I would call. That time the ME was called Nzile. So I'd call and tell him, hello sir, I'm seated. Hata namuita sir, aone I can be a good worker, najua kunyenyekea. Hello sir, I'm seated. Yeah, I'm that girl Cynthia from USIU. I've come to check if there is a job. I did it for so long. One day he was so angry. He told me, you know, I'm a very busy person. Come up and see how busy I am. You think I'm ignoring you? In fact, that day I told him, aki bus fare yangu inaisha, sitaweza kuja tena. So he told me, come up and see. Then I met Mwanaisha. She was so sweet. Me, I was just there naive, unaona hata celebs una shake kidogo. She told me, shika gazeti hapa usome, ukingoja boss amalize hiyo meeting. So when I went, he said, you're the one who has been bugging me. Okay, come on Monday.
Okay. So
I went on Monday. I did an interview. And then when I did the interview, I calculated we were eight people who were picked. Then I told myself, you know what, I need to make sure eventually I will get a job. So I have to work differently. So I calculated how many hours we work in a day and then in a week. Then I decided the number I found, I'll work double those hours.
Okay.
So I'd even work Friday, Saturday, other things I've not been asked to do. Commercial team, I'm there, I'm working. And then eventually now they even told us time is up, you have to leave. But later, na ndio vizuri kwa mabeshte na kila mtu, guard mwingine hapo, she told me, hey Cynthia, by the way, watu wameitia watu jobs, kuja. So I applied and I even called the boss again. You guys had jobs and you didn't tell me. So he said, how did you know? I said, my sources. So I went, I did the interview, and in my CV I told them that for me I want to come, see and conquer and be the best in Africa.
Wow.
So I started.
Come, see and conquer.
Yes. And I love conquering. I love conquering.
Yes.
I love challenges and then conquering.
Wow.
So I went there and I started, and then again I worked double.
All right.
So even I tell my boss, if you have someone who can't make it, allow me to work on their shift. So that made me grow very fast. Within a short time, I had a show called Enterprise Kenya on entrepreneurship. Niliekwa business desk because it required, for you to be in the business desk, it required that you have a business degree. And then also my boss, Nzile, he thought I was very naive. Nilikuwa kashamba sana. I even used to teach his kids kwa Sunday school. Sasa he told me, wewe hakuna kitu ingine unajua, ni kanisa na kukuja.
Wewe ulikuwa msichana wa kanisa?
Kabisa.
Hey.
I used to teach his
na nani alikuharibu kweli?
Watu kama nyinyi.
Yesu wangu. Sasa mimi tena naharibu.
Nitoboe.
Wewe, sanitize msichana jamani, weka mkono.
Ungeacha tu nitoboe. We trend kidogo. So he told me, you're too naive. I wanted politics, but he said, no, you're too naive. wacha nikutoe hapa, you're going to work in business. And since you've studied business, and ufanye business. So after a short time, because we were very few also women, actually at that time I was the only one. After that, I just decided then to go ahead and do business, and then I was given a show in a few months.
Wow.
And then, and what I'd do when I'd go out and meet people is to learn from them. I enjoy just watching people, even if sometimes there are people I don't agree with. I enjoy, and I don't agree with, you know, things that they stand for in life. I still know they've made it for a reason.
Wow.
So I would sit and watch, and even after the interview, I'd ask questions, and then I'd ask them for a card. Nikimaliza natuma message. It was a great pleasure meeting you and interviewing you. I learned 1, 2, 3, and even outside the interview, I observed 1, 2, 3 about you. I've learned something in leadership. Thank you.
Wow.
So from there, those relationships started growing very well. So sometimes even some interviews people couldn't get, I could get them. Even sometimes unataka kuibiwa ka story somewhere, I could easily. I remember like one time people were speculating about who is going to be the next CEO of Safaricom after Michael Joseph. I went, I interviewed him, kumaliza akaniambia just hold on a bit. And then he now called Bob.
The
and
late.
said, yes, the late Bob. This is Cynthia. Akikuitisha interview, make sure unampe interview nzuri. And so for me, my relationships, and a lot of times I would see CEOs when they're leaving, they would introduce me to the person who is coming up after them. So your networks continue growing, which really helped me, because later on when I started my business, some of those people were my first clients.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So nikaendelea na kazi. Then one day I won an award, the Diageo Business Awards. I was the first one in Kenya to win as the best upcoming business journalist. Nikakumbuka kwa CV niliambia watu I'll be the best in Africa. So now I'm the best in Africa. Now it's time to move on.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that is how you left.
And that is how I left. So I even
That is after how long at
it was
KTN?
close to 5 years. But I had written a proposal to them. I told them my show it's just about Kenya. In fact, the show when I started was about Nairobi. I moved out. I would go. Nilitembea Kenya during that time. Nikaenda out of town, learned so much about the country. I think I used to enjoy the learning more than anything. And then after that, I remember P.S. Nalo. That time, the late P.S. Nalo, he used to teach me a lot about the East African trade, and I wrote a proposal. I said I'd like to go East Africa now for my show.
Okay.
I think now this is too small. It was getting a bit boring, and I wanted the viewership to grow. But then they felt like it was not the time, and for me I felt like it's time for me to learn more about Africa and expand myself. And by the time now, all these people I was meeting, CEOs, they used to give me side jobs. Especially kama mtu akiingia kwa shida na media, they would call me communication crisis. And then I learned. Then sometimes another interesting thing is sometimes reaching some of those people was very difficult. Some of these ministers or the CSs, and what I'd do is people would come to me and tell me I have a proposal for so and so, na kusaidia kuandika hiyo proposal. How I know that person? Some people I tell them, huyu hawezi akakusikiza more than 5 minutes to reshape his proposal. And then I book the meeting for you. Then one day someone told me, you know, Cynthia, this thing you do, actually it's more of PR, you should be charging. So I started charging. So my PR side hustle started even when I was still working at KTN. Alafu when I won the award, nikajua let me now go and expand a bit.
Wow. Wow. Then you left.
I left. Nikaandika barua, resignation.
You actually wrote?
Yeah, I wrote, I gave them. I was very happy actually. It just felt I'm making the next move. I think it's good to do these things when you are young. So I sijui if I would do that. I don't know what I was thinking.
So what did you write?
So I just wrote, I said, thank you for the opportunity. And I had said when I joined this company, I want to be the best in Africa. Thank you for training me. And now I want to go out and expand. So I remember I had a boss, Kizito. He called me a month later. He told me, unajua Cynthia, we were giving you time to reflect na uone biashara ni ngumu. barua yako hatujawahi peleka HR. Can you
Kizito
come back?"
Mulanda.
Yes, Kizito Mulanda. Nikaenda hata akaniambia come we talk. Nikakuta hata they've tripled my salary. Akaniambia please come back. But it was time for growth. I told him, thank you, sir, I appreciate, but it's time for my growth. Something out there is calling me.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that then you left
Yes.
to Nigeria as your first stop.
Actually, I did a little bit of PR for corporates. All these people nilikuwa nakutana. Now I remember like Tabitha Karanja. She gave me some work. By the way, people really had
Goodwill with you.
Goodwill with me. I must say, and sometimes in business, all you need is one client, and you are given a 1-year contract. You're good to go. All your costs are covered, and now you're able to now look for other clients. So Tabitha really helped me, and I had also a few mentors. I remember I had like Naushad Merali, and when I started even my entrepreneurship club, he was the first guest. So to even see a billionaire like that, you know, believing in you. And the first time I asked him for a meeting, singe afford, you know, hotels kubwa. I told him, what mimi I can, and it's always good to be honest. What mimi I can afford is Java. Would you mind tukutane Java? We met at Java.
With Naushad?
Yes, we met at
Naushad Merali?
Yes, we met at Java. We had coffee, what I could afford. And he encouraged me. He told me, Cynthia, don't worry. He told me something. He told me when he was even starting his business, hata yeye, his where he would sleep, his bed sheet. Hiyo ndio ilikuwa bed sheet, alafu wanaamka asubuhi sana, wanaiweka kama curtain. So he told me, I understand where you're coming from, and what you need is now, what I needed then was people to hold me and to advise me. Wow. But alikuwa anaelewa hiyo hustle and that fire in me. Because even him, he had gone through the same. But to see people believe in me really encouraged me, and I didn't also want to let them down. So one day nikaenda mkutano, there was a meeting somewhere, ya watu who were like fans of TNA. So nikaenda, a neighbor of mine alikuwa ameni-invite, nikaenda at Pan-Afric. Nikasikiza, then I made a suggestion. I spoke about something, nikaongea, it was even something to do with YT2, and so on. So I spoke. When I finished, later on a gentleman came and called me and told me, what do you do? I told him, and I'm now in PR. So he said, I'm setting up a meeting with you. Akaniambia jina ya mtu mwingine. Akaniambia, what have I done wrong? Did I say something wrong? No, we need to work with you. So the next day we met with that person who was like actually the head of the TNA campaigns. And then they told me, now you're going to start working with us.
Wow.
So nikaanza, after 1 week hata wakaniambia, now I want to introduce you to another gentleman. He's going to teach you a lot. Ndio nikakutana na Moses Kuria. Moses Kuria can train. Moses Kuria is brilliant. He has
very brilliant.
Yeah, he has a very.
He has even sat here in the same city.
Yes.
Amazing guy.
Very. I remember.
Isipokuwa tu kuna wakati kichwa ya Moses uruka paka namuuliza aga nampigia simu. Ni nini hii wewe?
Brain when it overworks.
It's too much brilliant.
Yeah.
Kama mimi.
Like I have brilliant people kama wewe. Hata niko na kesi bado na wewe hukuniitia graduation party.
Na awile. Pole.
Unajua hapo speech.
Do you know all this time? You know all this time? I never knew you'd come back.
Yeah, I was.
Because even your social medias are a bit quiet. You post something ni ngumi unapigana huku na hapa.
Watu wajue wakilete mchezo. Huyu si ule Cynthia wa kitambo.
So saizi you are a complete.
Yes.
Kama
I train thrice a week.
Boxing.
Yes. I love kickboxing.
Yes. Kama ya Jane Mugo.
I like asitaanguka.
Jane Mugo is a very good friend of mine.
I enjoyed her interview last week.
Amazing woman. So Cynthia, let me ask you. That is how
that's how now I entered.
You got yourself
TNA.
into politics now.
Yes. Sasa nikaingia TNA. They trained me very well. I was still new, very young, very fresh in politics, but they took time, especially Moses Kuria. He was very kind to
And
me.
welcoming, eh?
Yes, very welcoming. He took time every day with me. Hata nikifanya makosa, he'd call me. Hata when I don't have confidence, tells me, "Apana, you push on." So that's now I worked with him, and then after that we won the elections. Then after that, the good thing when you work with government, it's like inside government, people talk, and different governments. So jobs for me in other countries started opening up. So after I did this work with also at the Nigerian High Commission, one day I met someone, and then he said, I like the job that you did, and also I've learned so much about you. I like working on strategic communication. So I told him, I said, I think your country is going here, and I think this would be a good position for you. Hata akacheka. But later on he told me, come to Nigeria. Nikaenda, I already had a proposal, and he was a governor then. Nikaandika proposal, hata nikaeka contract kando. Ndio akisema yes, hata contract ndio hiyo. Huko governors are very, very powerful and have huge budgets. So I was able to just get a 4-year contract.
A 4-year contract?
Yes, a 4-year contract. And the good thing with Nigeria is they really appreciate fellow Africans. They'd rather work with a fellow African than a Mzungu. Anytime. So and later, like once I even had a corporate client, and I met them through another PR firm in the UK. So they said, but Cynthia, everything you do, this PR firm in the UK does for us. Why don't we hire you? But that one, because of the relationship I had with the PR firm in the UK, I couldn't take up their job. But Nigeria, they celebrate you. They're so happy to say, I have someone working on my PR from Kenya. And one thing I like about African countries I've traveled in, Nigeria, even Uganda, they know Kenyan history. So like my client, who for a very long time was one of the most powerful politicians in Nigeria, would ask me, tell me more about Moi. I've read about Moi. He's the master of politics, They know so much, and about Kenyatta, the history, and they're so proud of Kenya. So you're never lost when you're in those countries, even Uganda. So Nigeria, I started working with that client. Then they were pulling in the different opposition parties, which later became APC. And my client is the one who was orchestrating all that. So it allowed me a front seat to watch and learn a lot in the political arena in Nigeria. And I remember at one time in the newspaper, I think the lady was called Grace, the Star. She had seen some photos I'd posted, and then she said, it looks like Cynthia is backing Buhari. So people called and said, that can never happen. Hamwezi toa sitting president. Ulisikia wapi? Ulisikia wapi?
Ulisikia
in
wapi?
Africa, ulisikia wapi? But I had a conviction. And then for me, before I work for any political client, I pray and fast. Kabisa, I have to pray and fast and be sure. Because a presidency, it's not a joking matter, and it's not just about our egos.
You see, it's not joking.
Yeah, it's not. It can change the
whole
trajectory of a country to an opposite side. So it's not something to play with. So for me, I even when now clients have asked me, I tell them now first, let me first pray and fast. Mungu akisema we work together, we'll work. Akisema si wewe, we'll
Saisi
not.
venye umefast na ukapray. Mungu anakuambia BBI inaenda wapi?
So you want me to be trolled? This is the thing, and I'll share because I don't like, even if I don't agree with people politically, I will never go. I've never worked, for example, for Raila.
You should. You should.
But I speak to his people. When I need to see him, he allows me to see him. I respect him. There are things what he has done for this country is great. There are things I respect about him. I like even the way he's I observe people there. He's a family man with his children. There's another really good side of him that I like, though we might not agree on everything politically. So when it even comes to BBI, and I'll say it because anyway I've shared with a few people in government, I think our government right now is missing out on the heartbeat of the people. People hata mtu wa siku hizi anaweza kosa 1,000 bob ya kupeleka watoto fees. I have children I'm paying school fees for, and somebody came and told me they just need school fees uko ushago. They just need me to raise for them 1.5 for 1 term, and she told me she doesn't have it. Now, how can we be in a country where our children are studying under trees? And
but it's the government you fought for, and
yes,
you people won.
Yeah, and it's still I'm still a member of Jubilee. I'm a member of Jubilee. I like my party because we are allowed to speak our minds. Yeah. But also I think just because you're in a party doesn't mean you agree. It's just like me and you. We might not agree on everything. But I'm hoping that there are very good things they've done. The infrastructure, every time when I come back to Kenya, I have to use Google Map, like I'm a foreigner, because the roads have changed, they've improved. So there are a lot of things that are very good about this government. But sai watu wamefinywa kidogo. And so as much as maybe BBI has some good things, people might not, right now that might not be their priority. And they're hoping for the government, it will not be their priority. But having said that, one thing I've learned working in government, vitu are complicated sana. There are different layers of things, people have different interests, there are different powers inside. A lot goes in, and watching even our president, one thing I liked about him, even when he was finance minister, then I was a business reporter, ni mtu ako na roho safi sana. Even he would greet you and be like na kumbuke hata story ulimwambia ya last week, hata ako na roho ya watu. It's just
kitu spend na rais ni moja tu. Kwa crowd tu mkikutana anakusalimia.
Hiyo ni lazima.
Call me.
Even one time. Umpigie, call me.
Unaona nabiaga tu. Mko pale hivyo ndio anakwambia
and he's
Cynthia,
so happy.
Unipigie simu.
Na usipotee hivyo.
Na napakani ati usipotee hivyo nipigie, lakini huru chocha.
But he means it.
Okay, sasa akikwambia nipigie, uhakikishe umenipigia na usipotee.
Si anajua utaongea na watu around yeye. Uambie wewe ni boss alisema. He means it.
Ebu sasa wacha ni mimi ni mtu around rais. Ebu niambie hiyo mambo ati.
Si utaongea na watu.
Ebu niambie sasa mimi ni mtu wako, sasa rais amekwambia.
Sasa wewe umesikia vile boss amesema.
Amesema nini?
I reach him.
We usijaribu hiyo kitu karibu.
Sasa wewe ni jealous. Can anybody ask wewe ni nani and you're jealous? Can anybody ask?
I'm happy that he has always met me when I've called or I've tried to reach him. He has always had time. But of late he's been too busy and people do not know that side of the president. Very happy guy. Just an easy guy, he just found himself there, and akasema he changed everything, and a lot has never changed about the president. Very happy guy. Wow. So Cynthia, you get to Nigeria, the stories that come back to Kenya a year or two later is that Cynthia has put Buhari, the president of Nigeria, in his seat. That Cynthia was leading the PR team for Buhari. That Cynthia is the one responsible of having Buhari as the president. Did you see all those stories?
I saw the days I was trending.
Trending heavily.
I saw the days I was trending. Of course, there were people who are happy and congratulating me. Of course, there were people who said it's a lie. But Grace had broken the story. It's interesting that when Grace said it looks like I'm backing Buhari, people were happy to trend and say, of course, they'll lose. What is she thinking? And so on. But then 1 year later when we won, some people were like, that story is not true. How did she get a job there? Again, I was trending on, so even Nigerians were like, thank you, Cynthia, and all that. For them, they really, at that time, it felt like, yes, it's a new season. And so the gentleman who I met here in Kenya, he's the one who put the political parties together. And also I was working also on his team when it comes to PR. And the reason why even a lot of journalists found out that I was working there is time sasa ya kubook interviews with Buhari. A lot of people now had to call me now to book those interviews for his first interviews. So one of the first calls I got was CNN. Wakaniambia that Christian Anampo wants to, even before the results were announced, that they would like to interview him, and then people from BBC and so on. So yeah, people were in Nigeria and they're surprised. They're like, hey, yeah, you're seriously working here. And I think sometimes
did you have a specific role?
Yes, yes.
What was your tag name there?
So did I have a tag name? No, I didn't.
What was your role?
Mine was a bit broad.
Your job description.
Mine was a bit broad. I was working under this governor, and then so what I was doing was handling some of at the beginning the communication strategy. And even the reason, like I remember I had to come up with a case of why Buhari would have been the best candidate and why he was the best candidate. I think now that's when people started now listening to me, because working in the north where Buhari comes from and even where my client comes from, it's an Islamic state. So wanawake huwa hawaonekani kwa meeting sana. And I remember the first meeting I had, I said I made a presentation, then somebody asked, why are you not married and at home cooking for your husband? But when I made a case about why Buhari would be there, now that's when people started listening. And I remember even like here in Kenya, people were like, how can a foreigner work there? How did she get that job? Nika trend, nika troll. People were so against it until the day now APC now finally wrote a letter appreciating my services. Hasa kupost ndio watu were like, hey, congratulations.
Akina sisi. Sasa zile ulikuwa unateseka hata tuoni.
Sasa zile unateseka. People don't see. Like working in the north was very difficult. I remember where I was staying, a place called Gusau. I would pack my things. I would make sure vitu zangu every day before I leave nimezipack vizuri, nimeweka neatly, so that in case I don't come back home that day, they can quickly pack. Hawatakuta hata nguo zangu chafu ni nini. Hapana, everything iko tayari. They can send it to my mom, because there would be terrorist attacks every day, especially in the north. Every day. So unatoka kwa nyumba ukijua there is a possibility
that you might come back home,
yes, or
and never come back.
So alafu it's hot, there's language barrier, there is, you're a woman, there's a lot. Half of the time you're asking yourself, pahali nimeka, am I really sitting here? Am I, why am I sitting here? Even right now, the way I'm seated here, you always ask yourself, why me? And there are so many other people. But it's God who chooses people. I have to say, it's God. Even the doors open for me. I think the one that also really shocked people again was Uganda. Like the first time President wa Kenya alikuja Uganda, his first presidential
tour.
Yes, visit, the official one. I was there, and I was in State House. Yeah, Uganda huwa in Entebbe. So I met, he came of course with some ministers, wakanisalimia. They said, hey, Cynthia, kumbe uko huku. The Ugandan side is like, apana, huyu ni wetu, she's ours until after election, maybe tutamrudisha. And then,
so you did also PR for Museveni?
Yes.
Museveni pia ni mtu ana PR inafanyika. PR Museveni PR ama ile diami tu, watu wanakupigwa.
You know,
What PR do you need to do for
you know,
Museveni?
let me tell you.
What?
You know, there are many things people don't understand about Uganda, and even I was a victim of that. By the time I was going to Uganda, you see, by that time nilikuwa nimefanya a few countries, so I feel like nimefika. You know, I'm fine. Nimefika. So before I got there, I'd already worked on the proposal. Everything was ready. You know, I felt like, yeah, I'm now an expert. Until one time, I remember I was seated, we were having a dinner with some expatriates. We had then the South African High Commissioner also was new in Uganda. So we sat with him. We sat with a gentleman called Robert Kabushenga. He's the CEO of Vision, New Vision, one of the newspapers there and TV stations. They're government owned, so partly government owned. So he now told us about the history of Uganda, and he was telling us how hata ndege ikipita juu, his stomach gets sick because inamkumbusha siku za war. And then there was another gentleman akatuonyesha nini zake, bullet holes on his hand. And then the South African High Commissioner, he was even telling us how even for them, when they were fighting apartheid in that country, they trained a lot in Uganda. And it made me respect Uganda. These are people who've come from war. And war, I pray that Kenya will never ever go there. Yeah, war really affects a country. You know, it takes you guys back 50 years. And it affects every aspect of your life. Even
economically, socially, every single thing.
Psychologically, how Ugandans think or Rwanda is very different from how Kenyans think. So then I quickly realized that one of when we're having that conversation is that I had to quickly change the strategy that I had. And one of the things that works for Museveni, and I realized that day, is that Ugandans have never known peace until when Museveni came into power. Another thing is also, before that, I had read a book written by Museveni, and he spoke, I like political parties that have a strong ideology. Si mambo ya kuruka party, leo there are 50 parties tufungue ingine, and I've been trying to learn them. That's why I also worked a bit with CCM to learn about the strong parties. And his is based on something he wrote when he was serving in the bush. Another thing pia watu hawajui, he was in the bush. Watu wamekuwa kwa bush wakafaitia nchi yao, hauwezi tu watoa hivyo. But in the bush, he wrote a 10-point program, which later became 14. One of the things he spoke about is there needs to be Pan-Africanism in Kenya. I mean, in Africa. And that's one of the things that made me love Museveni. That even when he was fighting for liberation and he's away from his family and everyone, he's thinking about how to bring Africa together. And to live there and to see he was not pretending or just writing ideologies. When you live in Uganda, hawezi kosa kukutana na at least 5 Kenyans in one morning, wacha hata in a day. And most of the places you go to, you'll find a lot of CEOs, top managers are Kenyans. Hakuna mtu atawauliza. In fact, if you ask the Kenyans living there, they don't mind if Museveni, they didn't mind that he won this last election. Wako na hiyo protection yake. And so many have invested there. Some of them go to university there and never come back. Because there are opportunities there and you really feel like you're at home. Hata sometimes I would forget I'm in Kenya. I mean in Uganda. Yeah, I'd feel like I'm in Kenya. So, and then another thing is that also about him is that's different is the security. It's like one house I was living in, the upstairs floor in my room, the whole wall was glass. Na ni ile tu ya kuslide hivi, na chini tu ni glass. Hakuna mtu atakuja kwako. Hata sometimes because it's so hot in one of the rooms, I just open the glass door and I sleep. Hakuna mtu atakuja kwako. Or even the way sometimes I see guns, people are, throwing out guns here during the day. Those are not scenes you will see there. So these are people who've gone through a difficult time. I believe that yes, after this there should be new leadership, there should be new ideas. It's time, but it is very unfair to judge a country kama you have not read their history and to understand. And another thing, It's not a civilian. He's not a civilian president. He's a general. Kutoa general si rahisi, and it is very fragile. Like even in Zimbabwe, it will need someone in the army to help in that transition, and also it will need whoever will be the next president is someone who the army can respect and say this can be our chief. It's not, nobody can just go over and take over that country. So there are a lot of issues. I know watu watasema naongea hivyo juu. But my time in Uganda was not easy.
It was crazy, yeah?
And it ended very badly, very badly, very, very badly.
When you say it ended badly, what happened?
I remember one time people here decided to make me trend wakasema. They were calling me blood money or something because they were saying I'm working for the Rwandan president and the Ugandan president. Yet those two countries have some serious issues between them. And to separate those issues is difficult because almost all Ugandans are Rwandans and Rwandans are Ugandans. So when the two presidents were having issues, somebody decides to tweet that, which is a lie. I'm working in Uganda. I'm working in a security office. I was working with the Ugandan police force. But then later after that, my boss, who was the IGP, was sacked by the president. And there were stories that he might be leaning a bit more on the Rwandan side. And also I had a colleague of mine who was shot. And Uganda, you're not just shot at TV of your. By the time you see someone shot, especially that style, and during the day, you know that it had to be someone high up who allowed this to happen. So there was investigations going on, and so people in our office were fired. Unfortunately, I was working in the office of the IGP. So, and a lot of people in our office were arrested. It became a big story. East Africa, people were so worried. They were sending me messages, are you safe, are you okay?
Were you arrested?
No, I was not arrested. I'm very grateful, but it was a difficult time. In fact, for a long time, I would sleep in my bed with my clothes on because a lot of people were being arrested at night. So that in case they come for me, at least I'm well dressed na niko tayari kwenda. So I was ready for that. The other thing was, of course, the usual, people will, where we are working, people will try to embarrass you, say your security is removed, all those things you get when you're working with the government. All that, is taken away. And people try to show you, let's see how powerful you are. People were not happy that as I was working there, and especially in police as a Kenyan.
Wow.
So it was tough. One day I was going to the supermarket, and then I see the newspaper. I'm like, hey, that chick looks like me.
So you are in the
headline. Kuangalia, it was me.
What are they written? In Uganda they can be very.
They can be nasty.
They can be very. There's one called the red pepper.
Red pepper.
Uolokoso.
Lucky. Banange. So that one was tough. In fact,
what did they say? What did the headline say?
I told the guard, buy for me that newspaper. I didn't want even people to recognize it was me, so I read it. The unfortunate thing, most of it were lies. How was she hired? When she was in Kenya, she was even a DJ. I'm like,
DJ who was hired to be our police. Kenyan DJ.
I was like, hi, okay, I was a DJ. I didn't know that. But they wrote other details that, about even my church, where I go to church. So it was a mix of lies and truths. But it was, of course, to embarrass me. And, people were now coming for everyone who was working for my former boss. And I think I really, unfortunately, stood out because I was a Kenyan. So it was rough. It was very, very difficult. But within the force itself, there were very good people who were like, we'll stand with you, Cynthia. You go on working. So I continued working. But it was a real I've never felt, shaken like that in my life.
Wow.
That everything can be taken away, just like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Before we go on, definitely, this show is heavily sponsored by Ken Sauce, Kenyan sauce. We call it Mix It Up, definitely. What's your favorite meal, by the way?
My favorite, actually, when I was looking at this, I was thinking about when I make lasagna.
Oh, lasagna.
I put it on one of the sheets. Naweka tu badala ya tomatoes nyingi, I put.
You put
Yeah,
some
I
Ken
put the
sauce.
sauce, yes.
Wow. Yeah, definitely. But what's your favorite meal?
I love lasagna and I love seafood.
No, couscous bolognese. Wow. So Ken Sauce are one of our biggest sponsors, and they've come back 40 years down the line.
Yes.
This is what Kenya has been defined with in the name of sauce. So it's Ken Sauce, and they have their tomato sauce, their ketchup, their chili, the whole range.
Yeah.
The
I
whole
tried
range.
their chili because of you, by the way.
Asante.
Nikiwatch tu nikasema, when I saw it at the supermarket, I said,
let's take
wacha
this.
tujaribu.
Asante sana. Thank you so much, Team Ken Sauce. When you go out there in the supermarkets, make sure that you grab some Ken Sauce. Wow. People from the lake love luxury.
Yes.
And there's only one way you can always identify a Luo somewhere. And you must always make sure that you give him the best. I'm telling you, there's a new bus that is going to Kisumu. It's called the Silver Cruise. It's a Mercedes-Benz 33-seater.
It had to be.
Yes, Mercedes-Benz 33-seater only. AC.
Yeah.
AC number one. Then it has not Makanga, hostess.
Of course.
Hostess. Silver Cruise. I'm telling you.
Departure time.
Departure time nini?
Stay
Kama
properly,
ndege.
kama
Kama
ndege.
ndege.
Iko snacks. Yeah,
Kila kitu nini.
Hey.
You have your TV, you have everything.
Hey.
Yes. They're called Silver Cruise. Now, Silver Cruise has started operating the Kisumu Nairobi route. If you're in Kisumu, you can book it from Kamas Total, and you can enjoy your cruise up all the way. So Silver Cruise is the new way. If you cannot fly up, why can't you not just fly low? You can have that experience when you're traveling down to Kisumu, and that is when you're going to the UK, yani uko Kisumu. But even in the UK, talking about Kenyans who live in the UK, who want to send money to Kenya, to the UK, UK, Kenya, UK, Kenya.
Yeah.
Kenyans, the UK, you want to send money back home. There's only one way. It is called Tap Tap Send. So Tap Tap Send makes you, gives a chance to send money quickly, and it's instant.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
Instant. You send money from the UK to your people back here.
Sahi-
All I'm
sahi
asking you guys
wanapata.
is download that now. Picture clear, back on you.
Niajiwase. TapTap Send Money Transfer has launched its app in Kenya. Send money to M-Pesa and Kenyan bank accounts. Send money quickly at the best rate. Hustle-free. Available in the UK, France, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, Belgium and Germany. Tumaki too.
To my people living in the US, in the UK, Tap Tap Send is the way to send everything, money back here. No transaction fees, at all. But they download that, use my code Jalango so that you can get your £5 added to your wallet immediately. When you just download and use my my code Jalango, you get £5 added. A pound is trading at how much right now? 100 and something. That is over 1,000 the hour. You'll be enjoying it all the way.
It's much more
Yes.
than that, yeah.
So Cynthia, you're back home. What are you doing home now?
Now I have to say I thank God for what happened in Uganda. It opened my eyes. I discovered who Cynthia is, and I realized that you know, my career, I pushed myself and my career because I was running from some things. There are things I had never healed from. And to cover up, I would be like, let me build my career. Nikitokea hivi, they won't see the things that are in me, that the wounds in me. Instead, wataona, she's made it and everything.
Ameomoka.
Na nilikuwa na enjoy sana. Unatokea pahali uko na bodyguards hivi, ukiingia watu wanajua mtu ameingia. But see, one day hizo vitu zote ziliondolewa. And
so all your bodyguards were with drone.
Everything was with drone. Everything. And a lot of times people even didn't want to be seen with me because they don't know if I'll be arrested.
That is in Uganda.
Yes, so they don't want to be associated with me. So I was left alone. And now I had to face myself. I had to face my life, and then I had to face God. So I like it because for 1 year when I was still there, I spent a lot of time just really praying and fasting. Na sasa si ile tu ya kujifanya ati ile kuokoka tu ya no,
uliteswa Uganda ukapokea Bwana.
Nilipokea Bwana. Niliacha, and I saw God saving me. Actually, for the way things turned out, it could have been worse. Truly, it was God who saved me. And just after that, I began to realize, you know, there's more to my life than just building a career and a fat CV. And even to all those places where God opened a door, it was not just for me to earn a salary. It was, he was still working through me. And I have a bigger purpose, which is serving people. And that's why I enjoyed working at the Uganda police, because it was really serving people. But now I understand it in a different way. Today, when someone tells me I'm going through a difficulty, can you stand with me? I'll stand with them whichever way. I'll pray with them if they need. Like now, there's some people, their kids need school fees. I stand with them. Kuna pahali unapitia in life, you understand what life is. You learn. I understood life is not about me.
Wow.
Yeah, life is not about Cynthia. Life is not about what I can get. Life is not about showing off. In fact, now I really don't care about a lot of things. I think even after that, I gave away a lot of my designer bags. Those things don't concern me or move me. Now I understand my higher purpose. Mine is to serve people. Mine is to show people the love of God. Even now, the leaders I work with, or potential leaders, we have to have a talk first about God and where is your stand with God. I won't judge. I'll tell you why it is important to have this stand. We pray. Now I pray with especially political clients. I think now I understand leadership and politics in a different way. Wow. So now I pray with them. I even let someone know first nitaomba na nitafast alafu nikwambie. Before I would not even tell them. I would just say yes, we are fasting, but now I even tell people, do you know the Lord Jesus Christ? Is he your personal savior? Now see, the interesting thing, I would never have thought this would be near a few years ago. I used to be like, be private, go make your money, do your thing, be powerful, Now uende nyumbani. Now I'm concerned. Like now I use Ubers a lot. I ask the Uber driver, how are you? How was your day? And because I genuinely care, not ile tu ya tuongee story. And I think my life now is much more fulfilled than before.
Wow.
And I love the work that I have with God.
Wow. So are we going to see Cynthia on the screens anytime soon? Or what's the plan?
Sasa, see, we said we are going to have a...
So you're coming back bigger?
Yes. Yes, I'm coming back bigger. A new side of Cynthia. I think one of the things I really appreciate is that I came to the screens when I was young. I was young, I was naive, there was still so much I had to learn. I made so many mistakes in the public, but the public always, forgave me. And a lot of times it was about me. I have a story. It needs to be number one story. But now what the stories I'm going to have will be a bit different. It is about the other person.
What
It
is
is
this?
about mentoring our youth.
What is this one big mistake you look back and say, you know what, I missed? Your younger self.
My younger self, I wish I had, I wish I was not selfish. I wish life, even when I would interview guests, it was about how the show will look good. I wish I would have looked into people a bit more and tried to understand them and, you know, learn from them. I wish I had given back much more. You know, work with the youth, mentor the youth. I was very selfish. It was about me,
yourself.
yeah. Building my career, building my brand, building my name. But now I've come to realize that all those things are not important.
Wow.
Yeah. And my life is for service. After the things I went through in Uganda, they are deeper. One day maybe I'll write a book. And some of the things I still can't talk about them right now. But even the way I a lot of times I write, you know, let's pray for this country. I'll call people on Instagram, let's pray for Uganda. Sometimes people might think it's because I was hired there, so, you know, it's the country that, but it's more of, despite the things I went through in that country, I forgave that country, I forgave the people who did that. What and every day nawaombea Mungu awaendelee kuwa bless. And I love them.
What is this worst thing you ever went through in Uganda?
For when I started working in one, because I had 2 different jobs, one with the party and then another one now with police. So when I started working there, some gentleman one day came and told me, if you accept to give us, to add a certain amount in your invoices will be going through, and then we'll give you the cash. And it was a huge amount of money. And I said, no, this one will put me in trouble, and also this is illegal. And I run a PR company. My name can't be ruined because of this. So they said, okay, utajua haujui. You'll never be paid. 6 months I was not paid. 1 year I had not been paid. 2 years I had not been paid. And it was so painful that I had a job that was so powerful. I could open doors for people. I could do things for people. Even a lot of times when I would work my car, yes, I had a police vehicle. Sometimes even I'd put my own money, hakuna fuel. And you go out and do all that, but when you go back to the office, pesa yako, makaratasi yako imepotea, blah, blah, blah. And now I learned corruption on another level. When you work in such high offices, everyone around you is also as powerful, maybe even more powerful, and have more powerful godfathers than wewe. So hata ukijifanya hapo, you're not corrupt and everything, they know how to come for you. And eventually, even one time they put up a story and said I'm being paid a certain amount, which was not true. Actually, the amount they had indicated is the amount they had asked for a bribe for. It was more than $10,000 per month. So they wrote stuff about me. Sayo, I've not earned any single cent. And one time, eventually, when they saw that my former boss was fired, they decided even nyumba yangu haitalipiwa, because the government would pay for all my other costs, yeah, like the house and all that. So by this time it's almost 3 years. Of course, I've spent my savings. I had bought a house just before I went to Uganda, so I was now even paying mortgage, and so I have a house here. Haijalipiwa for several months. The landlady after Christmas, but mind you, after Christmas public holidays we used to work. So Christmas I was still in Uganda. She hands me a letter kuniambia utoke kwa hii nyumba, haujalipiwa rent for 7 months. So just after fast, I was thrown out of my house. That was very painful. And even sometimes I would struggle so much. You still have other bills and responsibilities to pay. So the small, and that's why these days when people come to me, they have problems, I really get them, because I remember one time I didn't have any cash. I switched off the fridge, haina chakula ndani. And then I got sick. Then I had some cash, and I had to choose. This was a very painful decision. I had to choose: do I buy medicine and get sick on an empty stomach, so I might it might even affect me, or do I buy food and then wait for the day I'll have cash? So what did I do? I bought the medicine. Iliniumiza tumbo, I vomited because the stomach had nothing. Nika vomit. But I like it. It hardened me. I now see people in a different way. When people ask me for food, hata sometimes people would invite me to their house, naenda na make sure nikule vizuri, because I don't know the next time I'll have a meal. So it taught me, it was a short period of time that I went through all that, but to be thrown out of your house. But that's when I started seeing God, because like that day I was thrown out of my house. God told me, enda ulale Serena. So me, I called the manager. I told him, by the way, I think even he doesn't know the full story, and he's Kenyan, so I know he'll watch this. So I called him. I said, hello, by the way, I can't access my home because nilikuwa nimefungiwa nyumba, and I don't have cash on me. I told me, don't even explain. There is a key for you at the reception. The way to Mungu, and that time I tried to see where I can sleep. And no, in Uganda that time also, of course, because of working in government, and because of the office I was working in, I had not socialized with people so much. You try to keep your life very private. So I didn't have like people who I could say, hey, can I come rock up at your house? You know. So at that time I didn't have that. So I tried going somewhere. Mungu akaniambia usijakwambia uende kwa hiyo nyumba, nimekwambia uende Serena. Sasa hiyo hata sina pesa. So nikaenda Serena, I got my key. Then somebody in government heard about that issue about my house. The next day they called and said, how much do you need to continue staying in the house and to pay the arrears? Kambia mimi, I want to move. But the arrears is this amount. Akatuma mtu, nikaletewa hiyo pesa, I paid. My staff was released. Then someone else told me, I have a house, which is a house and an office. Na kwa hiyo ofisi, nobody is using that one side. You can stay there. So I stayed there, and then from there I just started rebuilding my life. Nikaanza biashara ingine. The good thing is I wasn't really harassed I wasn't harassed like, physically, like people coming and nothing of the sort. So I could still go ahead with my own business. So at that time I started another business, which has been very successful. It's what actually kept me going, like even last year. But now I see life in a different way. Now I see life in a different way. From having roads cleared for you for many years after I started actually TNA, your life changes. You have security, you have you have the power. Anything you need to do ni one phone call. Roads unaambiwa tunapita hii barabara, fungueni hizo barabara. And in the different countries I've worked in, and then to find yourself one day you have nothing and you have no one to run to. Some of those things you can't now call back home, nisaidieni, they will not interfere. Sasa you're stuck there. Niliface Mungu, najua Mungu, na najua sasa Genesis to Revelation.
Hey.
But it gave me my real purpose. My real purpose. Sasa ukisema sijakuwa fisherman, kuna vitu nilipitia.
Umepitia vitu za fisherman kabisa. Wow.
Yes. So that also has, even for the show that is coming up in 2 weeks, it's not going to be about me. Even for me to share that nilikuwa nalala njaa, it's not about me. It is very, it can be embarrassing to share that you were once so broke, you didn't have food. But my life is not about me. If my story can help someone who is in a difficult place. I really know what it means to wake up every morning and ask yourself, what is life about? I feel nothing, I'm numb. You watch people 6 inafika mpaka usiku, you watch darkness, unawatch tu mpaka asubuhi, unasikia hata birds, unajua ni mpaka you know the different types of birds. Kuna moja ile ulia 3, kuna ingine ya 5, kuna ingine ya 6, unazijua haujalala na unaishi tu hivyo. I know, and I know what it feels like not to have to understand the purpose of your life, how empty. That's why for my show I want people to find their purpose. I want people to, so long as your heart is beating, God is not done with you. So you must, you know, like you see, like for you, one thing I like about your show, why I even came for your show, is even when you interview people, it is not about you. So, unajua kuuliza sensitive questions, but in a nice way. And then we understand that person. Hata, for example, last week, hata ukanifanya nipende gym. I was not so sure about the interview, but now listening, the way you did that interview, there are things now I understood better about her. And even, you know, you've employed, one of the things I was observing, I like watching people, when your staff met me, I noticed you have, I saw around, how many people? Around 9 people. They are all young. You've given them employment, and they are so excited. They were so happy to meet me. I knew, see, just because we Cynthia, but they're happy to do their job. They are passionate. Even the discussions, nilikuwa nawasikiza tu wakidiscuss, they're asking, are you okay? Wanna discuss for the show, we need to bring this up hivi. To see that you brought people, they have something to look forward to.
One is called Nakoche. Say Nakoche.
Nakoche.
Nakoche is this one. It's the last
one. Okay. Hey, this one anajua kuimba. Ametuimbia hapa sukari.
Guys, talking about amazing things. Now, just before we finish up, I met these amazing guys. They call Jamex. Jamex is just short form of Jamhuri Express. All right, Jamhuri Express. These guys actually ship things from the US back here to the country. There's so many people back in the US who want to buy things for their families back here, or if you are here and you want to buy things from the US and you want it shipped here, they will do it in less than within 10 days. You'll have your stuff back here, whether you're buying from eBay, Amazon, and everything. You understand?
It's cheaper sometimes,
and it's even cheaper, and you have to choose. Do you want it to come by air or by ship, and all that? Now Jamex comes into that space. Now everybody in the US, everyone in the US, and we are big in the diaspora, where this show is very huge in the diaspora, and also to the guys here who buy stuff in the US and stuff, please, before you do anything, follow Jamex on Facebook, follow on Instagram, and see how you'll start shipping your stuff from the US back here at home through Jamex. Jamex is just Jamhuri Express, and I've met the whole amazing team. They explained to me what they do and how they do it. I was so much impressed. So if you are in the US and you want to bring things back home, or you're here and you want to buy things from the US, there's only one way to ship stuff from the US, and that is through Jamex. Follow them on Instagram, Facebook, and everywhere. Just check for Jamex, and they will be able to ship your stuff back here. Wow. Cynthia, I didn't know all this, man. I mean, I was looking and waiting for this woman who made her billions back there.
I was waiting for the right time.
And this was the right time.
You know, you can have, and this is the thing, I also am learning a lot about money. Sometimes you can have the assets, but hiyo pesa haiko. You can have a house, yes, you can have a house, but, and you can have other things, but the cash, liquid cash, is not there. So I'm happy I was able to, especially in Nigeria, I was able to invest in a few things.
Back in Nigeria?
No, from the work I did there, that helped me survive for those years, and even and now even that I think for the last, I think that difficult period lasted for Close to 1 year.
A year.
Yes, close to 1 year.
Then things changed and you got back.
Things got, you know, the thing is, what you have in you, that thing that made me leave KTN, I want something bigger. That fire in me that
Has
made
never
me
died.
think, it has never died. There was a time it had died a bit. I would look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, who is this? But it comes back. Na kwanza sasa inakuja hata double. And now your eyes have opened. I think when I was a bit younger, I wasted money a bit. I remember one time there was a story, I went somewhere, some artists were performing our works. I was excited, nilikuwa nawarushia dollars. Sasa vitu za utoto kama hizo niliwacha. I know when I have cash, a certain percentage goes to God as tithe, a certain sadaka, a certain percentage goes to people. Like now, even the money I make, a big percentage is going out to help people.
Wow.
Yeah, and not about just Cynthia.
Cynthia, straight on this camera, as we close down, what did you want to tell people about your show, who Cynthia is right now,
Yes.
and what's the purpose, and where are we beginning? Welcome back home,
Thank you.
Cynthia.
Thank you. This is a great welcome back. It feels like a welcome back party. I have a show that is coming up. I'll share the details on my page. My page is Cynthia Nyamai. Twitter, Facebook. I'm also on TikTok. So I'll share the details in a few weeks. Actually, in 1.5 weeks. Which station? It's a TV station here in Kenya, and also we're going to have it on YouTube. You can check out my page on YouTube. It's Cynthia Nyamai Media, and the show is going to be entertaining, but it's going to be a real show. It's going to be a real show. Emotions will be raw, but also there'll be solutions. And to bring people back to life and back aligned to their purpose. So I'm looking forward to spending more time with you on TV and to enjoy very good conversations coming soon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, definitely Jalango TV here, and at that point is where we are closing this. Now, guys, you know our new show just began today. The first episode is up. It's called Jenga na Alex na Jalas. Wow. And just like
I subscribed.
you did,
yeah, earlier.
Thank you so much. And you know, we just decided that this was a small idea.
Yeah.
But the way God has manifested
Yeah.
Himself
Yes.
into this one,
Yeah.
I cannot even explain.
Yeah.
We have people who are calling, they want to do interior. There are people who want to do for us the cement.
Yeah.
There are people, I will not name brands
Yes.
right now, but big brands are already calling
Yeah.
to be part of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
amazing journey. But our idea is also to inspire young men and
Yeah.
women
Yeah.
to home ownership, take them through the process, what it takes, and just be living in a dream and making it come true.
Since people are supporting you, even me, I want to support you. So I'm going to have you on my show. You you must be my guest on the show.
When do you want me?
We'll talk about it. We'll
Good
share the
stuff.
details
I will
after this.
come.
But
Anytime.
you have to be my first guest.
Good.
Yes.
Very good. Big shows begin with big guests.
That is true.
Thank you so much. I appreciate. Guys, definitely you must also subscribe to Picture Clear. You've seen the work he's been doing. He's a guy seated right there. So when he was recording all this show, he said, okay, why do I just record this show? And I can also do some things on my stuff.
Yeah.
So Picture Clear started his YouTube channel,
Yeah.
and he's already doing something. So he's just not the guy behind the camera anymore,
Yeah.
but he's also come back to the screen. So guys, also subscribe to Picture Clear and make sure that we share this content and inspire, educate, and entertain people. This is Jalango TV, and the program is Bonga na Jalas. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Asante.